Now let's look at controlling audio in your project. We're going to start off by simply controlling the audio in a clip that you've got in your timeline here. So I've got a clip here and there's some audio. So you can adjust the volume of that audio one of two ways. One way is with the clip selected I could click here and I've got volume control. Now notice down here in the clip there is an audio waveform at the bottom so you can tell when sounds get louder or quieter and things like that. And you have a line there as well. The line, if you move your cursor over it, says 0.0 dB, decibels, meaning that it hasn't been adjusted up or down. If I adjust the volume here you can see also 0.0 there. You can see that line moves up or down to adjust the volume of the entire clip. So if a clip is too quiet you can adjust it up, or too loud you can adjust it down. But you can also click and drag this line in here to adjust up or down, which is a lot easier when you're working here in the timeline to be able to just do that rather than going up here. Now you have some other controls as well. Notice here on the left side there is a little dot and there's a similar one on the right side. And then move your cursor over that dot and you want to have the cursor look like this. You see just a left and a right angle, and it'll actually even say fade audio in. Then you know you've got your cursor positioned correctly. Then you can click and drag and look at that little curve that's created there at the beginning. What that's going to do is do a fade in. So I can do, say, a 1 second fade in like that. So now the audio, instead of just starting abruptly, fades in over 1 second. I could do the same thing here at the end. Get that cursor just right like that. And now I could do a fade out. And that's how you can have a clip fade in and fade out. Now you can do more with this line than just moving it up and down. You can actually use it to adjust the volume of the sound over time. The way you do that is you create control points by holding the Option key and clicking. Now you're going to want to create at least 4 control points, and you'll see why when we try to adjust a section. So I'm going to start, say here, Option click, and you see a point. And I'm going to want to Option click for another point, and then I'll do a third one here and a fourth one here. It takes some practice to Option click and get it directly on that line. Now that I've gotten these 4 points here, if I grab the line between the middle 2 points and drag it down, you can see what happens. I've moved these 2 points down. These 2 outer points stayed the same. So now the volume gradually lowers down to this point. It's quiet, and then gradually goes up to this point. I could have drug up maybe to make this section here a little louder. Anything less than 4 points and it's hard to control. Of course you could add many points in here and do some extreme controlling between them. So I could say lower this section here and lower this section here like that. Now I want you to remember how we added those control points because we're going to be looking at those later on in another context. But for now let's talk about another aspect of audio, and that's adding sound effects and music. So like a lot of things I could add media 2 ways. One is I could use one of the options here, say go to the photo and media browser there, and I could go to my music collection, which only really works for music that you actually have, not say a subscription to Apple Music or music that has digital rights management on it. But you can also go to sound effects and you'll have a variety of sound effects as part of Final Cut Pro and maybe other apps that you have on your Mac as well. So you can look and see different things here. You could also just drag and drop from the Finder. So I can drag and drop a file, for instance, and bring that in. I'm going to use one of the built-in effects here. Let's look for a cheer. And we can see a bunch of different things. Here's a 5-second clip of kids cheering. We could preview it like this. Okay, so let's bring it in. Now instead of dropping it on top of the main timeline, you drop it on the bottom. The idea is that audio goes below the main timeline and video goes above it. And now I've got this bit of sound effect here, and I can position it where I want. Notice it attaches to the clip. So if I move the clip, the sound comes with it. It always stays at the right spot. I could adjust this. I can say adjust the volume down or up. I could add those same control points in. I could even drag and shorten it. And then once I do, I can maybe fade out at the end here. And let's fade in at the beginning. So now we get a quick little cheer in there from this sound effect. And you could layer multiple sound effects, put as many as you want. So let's look for bell. And we could drag that down and put that below or above this one. Doesn't really matter. They're both still connected there. And we could just add tons of sound effects here. Now another thing to consider when dealing with audio is that sometimes you may want to detach audio from video. For instance, maybe this is a video of somebody talking and you want to have that speech appear over another video. So what you can do is you can go to Clip and then Detach Audio. And that breaks the audio off and it's a separate piece now. So now if I had another clip here I could drag this piece of audio to that clip and then delete this part there. But you could also go to Clip and then Expand Audio or Control S. And what that does is it puts the audio into a second part here, but it's attached to this first part. So the audio and video are still together but they're separate. Now why would you want to do that? Well, it's very common to need to add, say, another clip like this. Let's do the same thing for this one. And let's expand the audio. And to have a transition between the two of them, we'll just do a quick jump cut. And if I see the jump cut here, maybe it happens at that point like that. Now while I want the video to cut from one to another, I want the audio from this clip to continue a little bit, to fade in. And the audio from this clip to actually precede it a bit. This is very commonly done in television and movies. But it's not really found in projects that people create on their computers because they don't think to do this like a professional would. Doing this little thing could actually really elevate your video quality. But at the same time the person watching it won't even know what is different. So to do this, which is called an L cut, you can see if I double click here on the video I can control the video. But if I just select the audio down here I could drag it to the left like that. And now this audio will actually start before the video cuts in. And then I can drag this audio to the right. And then this audio will continue. And then I could actually go in here and fade this in and fade this out like that. So now the audio basically does a nice fade in. It's combined for a while and then the other one fades out while the video does a hard jump cut. And this creates a nice smooth audio transition even though the video transition is not like that. And you could do this with a regular transition as well. So for instance, let's add a cross dissolve here. And I could still then decide the audio and have the audio be faded in like that, faded out like that. Now I want to show you a couple other things about audio. One is that you can adjust audio just like you can adjust the image in a video or photo. So I've got this clip here selected and we already saw there was a volume control here if you've got the audio control selected. But there are also other things that you could do. For instance, in here you can see there's equalization and I can choose an equalizer or use this graphical interface here to create my own. I can adjust the pan left or right. And you could do that not just for a clip like this but also for regular audio. So this sound effect that's in here I can do adjustments as well. You can also speed up and slow down audio. So I can, with that effect selected I could slow it down. And there's audio enhancements just like there was video enhancement. So I can auto enhance a piece of audio from either that sound effect there or maybe the whole video clip here. And I could also match audio. So here I've got two videos and I could select one and then say match audio and I could select a section here in this other clip and apply match and it will try to match different things about the audio. In this case it wasn't able to do much with this. But in other cases, especially maybe if you simply change the microphone position in a room between two different clips, then maybe this would be able to make them sound a little more similar. Now, you can also apply a variety of audio effects. And if you select a clip here and I go to effects, there were video effects we looked at before, but there are also audio effects here. So you can see a bunch of different things here that you can do to apply effects to different audio bits. So for instance, I can apply helium to the kids cheering here to bring it up quite a bit.